Drop them all in. Let's figure this cluster out. Not recording yet, is it?
It is now.
Hey, okay. Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, guys.
All right. Get rolling. All right, guys, bear with me. Did anybody try and log into the profit share class at 1 o'clock?
I wasn't around.
Don't worry, you didn't miss anything because we had some technical difficulties. So,
Okay.
I decided to do the smart thing and buy a really expensive router booster for my house that's going to cover 4 acres, and it died. So,
Oh.
ASUS, not a big fan right now. So, moving on, you know what we do? We figure stuff out, right? That's what we do here. So, challenges are just opportunities that we have not figured out yet. So we stay positive and we move forward. Speaking of which,
I like that.
DC, you're able to run it on Facebook or no? DC, can you hear me? No, she's kissing and waving at people. Okay. I can run this.
Sorry, what do you need?
Sorry, you caught that last part?
I was kissing at my Charleston friends. I was masterminding with my Charleston friends.
No. I love it. Are we able to go Facebook Live or no?
It is spinning, so I'm not having luck on that side.
Should have been on Zoom.
Oh, Kent missed it. I was blowing kisses at Joseph.
Oh, Lord. Thank goodness I missed it.
All right. So apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll get rolling in just a second here. Okay. Cece, I'm going to try and go Facebook Live for my iPad.
Okay.
All right. I should be running off of multiple computers and devices now. Okay, great. So, again, thank you guys for bearing with me as we get everything up and running here and getting through the technical difficulties. Hopefully my internet does not cut out again. I think I've got the problem fixed. And looking at myself, I definitely need a haircut. Kent, is Pam still doing haircuts?
Yes, sir. Come on over.
Might have to drive up. All right, so did you guys, I know some of you guys got the email, and Tom, thank you for your response to the email last night. I just want to touch upon that really briefly. And I think it's really important that right now, positivity is the biggest thing. And I think, you know, a lot of the conversation we've been having, a lot of the conversation around the Carolinas region has been really driven at staying positive, staying business, staying moving forward. And last night, if you guys saw the email or didn't, I wanted to touch upon a little bit of the humanity of things. Somebody paid me a really big compliment yesterday. And it really, Zoom call after Zoom call and meeting and everything that we've got going on right now, it can get a little bit draining on us as individuals, even as a member of leadership. And, it was one of those things that when I heard it and somebody kind of complimented me the right way, it really kind of just re-energized me. It reinvigorated me to, hey, come on, let's do this. And so that's something that I kind of wanted everybody to experience and feel. And so that was kind of the point of that message that went out last night. So if you guys got some time in your day, Chelsea, Tom, I appreciate you guys. You guys are always on here, staying up to date on everything that we're doing, and staying abreast of, the changes, or as we're talking about, not even the changes, what we need to be focusing on here in the shift book. And so I think sometimes it's just going to mean the world to some of those people if we can reach out. I'm happy to say we started the week with 4 signups for Bold Pivot. We've got now some additional signups for that. I know Tammy came on our team meeting yesterday and talked about that. In 2 weeks, we're going to have another guest come on for our team meeting. I just got that booked yesterday, so it's a surprise, but I think it'll be really good. So we'll be continuing to talk about Bold Pivot right now. And guys, I got to give a shout out to Mark Rubenstein, AKA Ruby. As you guys saw, he just joined our office. He just put his first person in his downline yesterday. And she's going through the paperwork and everything, but has committed to joining. Somebody he met in pre-licensing class. He's going through it, taking post-licensing. He's got that energy behind him right now. And I don't know if I've ever known anybody to get somebody in their downline being with the company for such a short period of time. So right now is one of those times. A lot of the conversations that I'm having right now with people outside of our company, and I think we touched upon this a little bit yesterday, that they're cutting stuff because, yeah, they're cutting expenses. I think a lot of companies are doing it the wrong way. And so I'm not bashing any of these companies, but we know Compass and EXP cut 15% of their admin. I don't think that's where you make cuts. I applaud our leadership, and not just because Kent's on this call, that I do. I applaud them for going above and beyond and cutting our expenses for us, something that would regularly be a fixed cost for us. So who are you guys having conversations with, or who have you guys done a cross sale with in the last 6 months, last year, that right now is going to be a time to reach out? I spoke to a young woman yesterday with Alan Tate, been talking to her on and off. And she's, her motivation is all about education. And so I invited her to come and join the Bold Pivot with us. And I implore all of you guys to do the same thing. If you've got somebody that you think is of quality, is a Keller Williams cultural fit, please put them in touch with me. Connect us on an email. Just let me thank them for being a great real estate agent, and let me thank them for, and even introduce myself. I think a lot of you guys know, I don't know as many agents up at the lake as I know in the South Charlotte areas. I also just got an agent from the Ballantyne Market Center, just sent me a lead for a husband-wife team looking to find a new home. And so I sent an email out, be in talks with them as well. Guys, the opportunity is right there. You guys just got to go out and get it. So a couple of things that I just want to touch upon before we jump into Tactic 7 over here. And a conversation that I was having yesterday, or with my coach and my MAPS coach, we were really focusing on, what opportunities are going to be available for us in the future. And one of the things we talked about was to look at there's counties right now, guys, that are already opening back up. So last week, Balcom County, which is out in Asheville, opened up. And I have a good friend out there, Stuart Downey, who's a team leader, Jeff Stewart, who's another team leader at the 2 Asheville offices, and a couple of agents that I know really well that came from the Charlotte market, moved out there, so on and so forth. One of the guys, Drew Alexander, who I was talking to, told me how overwhelmed he was because all the people that he was using Command and touching with, he just said it opened like floodgates. So right now, I know Mecklenburg's not back open, yet what happens if it were to open tomorrow? Are you guys prepared to handle an influx in your business? When I was talking to Drew, he had 5 new clients. And of those 5, they were all buyers, and 2 of them had a house to sell. So that's 7 pieces of business that he acquired in one day because he was doing the touches. And guys, I'm not making this stuff up to ooh, rah, rah, rah. It's those people are going to come back. Once the floodgates open, they're going to come back. And the thing is, are you going to be the one that gets the business because you're touching them, or are they going to go and find somebody else? A lot of times we got to stay front of mind. I'll tell you guys, Summit Funding, George Weiss, he's a loan officer. His building's right next to ours. The first time the guy ever sent me he sent me a picture of me on vacation with my family. And I thought it was really creepy. And I was like, I don't know you. We don't have a relationship like that. Why are you sending me this? And as time kind of moved on and went on, he continued to stay in touch with me. And as a result, we started doing business together. And so, there's no such thing as bad advertisement. There's always a way that we can stay in touch with people. And so when those floodgates do open up, and I see a couple of people, Brandon from Boone jumping on here, the rural areas are going to be the ones that really start seeing the business first. And you're probably going to see it in one of two different areas, right? It's either I need to unleash that mountain house because I'm curious, afraid, not sure what's going to happen with all of this. Yet once we do start opening up more, I just want you guys to be prepared for that. And so as we get ready for this pivot, or we're actually already going through this pivot, what do we need to be focusing on? And so I'm going to tell you guys kind of what I told you yesterday too. If you guys haven't gone and spent that $30 right now that you guys have for Facebook ads, what's up? Like seriously, free money handed to you guys. It's only going to bring a benefit to you. And I think I said it yesterday. I have a friend in a different market center, went ahead and spent $50, went ahead and made the investment because there was some little bump at $50 or whatever. He got some extra advertisements or more touches, whatever it was. He'd get his $30 reimbursement. He also got, over the course of the weekend, 25 leads. Now, two things with that is, number one, are you not doing it because you don't like leads? I think I know the answer to that question. But are you guys prepared to handle 25 leads right now? And how do we do that? And so if you guys want more information around how to do that, is your command set up to the level that command needs to be set up? If you guys have questions about any of this stuff, this is what we have Sue for. I can't put enough of an emphasis on it. You guys know that I'm still an agent in the Valentine office. Valentine office does not have a tech coordinator, okay? They have an agent that does tech, yet our ownership, our leadership has gone ahead and partnered with Mooresville and university to figure out a way to have a full-time tech person on staff 24/7. I don't care if you're in Huntersville. I don't care if you're in Boone. Yes, she comes to Cornelius one day a week. Right now, she's not going anywhere. And you can go and book with her. I will make sure in our daily update today that I've got all the information. It's been out on our Facebook page. Book an appointment with her. It's 30 minutes. It's on a youcanbook.me. And anything that you have a question around, guys, this is what you need to be doing right now. Don't tell me, oh, I don't know what to do. No, talk to Sue. And Cece just posted it in our chat. So it's Sue. I'm going to butcher her last name, okay? .youcanbook.me.com. Cece, will you go ahead and throw that up? Thank you. Cece, you're right with me. She's already posted it up on the Facebook page as well. So it's right there, guys. Listen, use her. That's what she's here for. And I don't think everybody understands what ability you guys have. There's a couple of things that we've been talking about with our shift. And this is the thing. There's going to be some people that coast along through this. Let's not be the coasters. Right? Let's be the people that actually come out of this, hit the ground running, and move forward. So I'm off my soapbox. That's my rant on that. Guys, listen, if you have questions about it, please do not miss this opportunity. You've got dues cut in half. You've got office rent cut in half. You've got $30 credit. Go ahead and utilize it right now. And don't forget, as we already mentioned, Bold Pivot. $99 to get involved with Bold Pivot, starting May 5th. If you guys need to talk to me about, you've got a great agent that you want to get involved in. Brandon, I see you out there in Boone. If you've got somebody in Boone that's with a little sister company, you want to get them involved in this as a starting conversation. Every 3 agents that come from a different company to Bold, 1 joins. So let's make that really purposeful. And I may have a little bit of a side bet going on with David Morgan about who can get more right now. So, guys, help me out. Help me win this bet, please. So let's move on. Tactic 7. So we talked yesterday about a lot of the internet lead generation. And talking about Tactic 7, price ahead of the market, seller pricing strategies. Okay? So before we jump into this, back up for a second. We've been having this conversation already. What is going to pull us through this market? What is going to pull us and typically through all markets is going to be winning the listings. winning the seller market is what's really going to push us through, okay? It's a lot easier for a buyer to back out than a seller is to back out. So he who has listings or she who has listings, don't want to get the ladies upset, that's the person who's going to win the day right then and there. And so we need to price ahead of the market. So what happens in a shifting market? Business go up, business go down. Or what are we anticipating with this shifting market? Are we going to be higher or lower? What do you guys think? Chime in. And thank you, CC, for putting up the bold registration on both Zoom and Facebook Live. What do you guys think? Are prices of houses going to go up or down in the next 2 to 3 months? Get some feedback. Somebody say something.
I can speak to commercial. I mean, I think it's going to go low to start, and then once things open back up, it's going to shoot up.
Okay, so Dawn's telling us that immediately or the next 3 months, we're going to see it go down, right? What do you guys think about residential? Think we're going to see the same thing? Think we're going to see it go down? I think initially we may see a dip. I think initially we may see some stuff go down. Bobby Joe McCarran, thank you for chiming in. She says it's going to stay the same. It very well could be. Listen, guys, we don't have a crystal ball around this. Yet let me ask you this question. We've been in a very strong seller's market. Is that fair to say? We've been in a strong market for sellers. Okay, I see a lot of nodding the head. Yes, okay. What happens if you undervalue or underprice a house in a strong seller's market? Do you get more or less offers on a property?
Underpriced in the seller's market, you're going to get multiple offers.
You're going to get multiple offers, okay? So those of you at Facebook Live, Tom Maddox just chimed in saying if we're going to go low on the price, we're going to get multiple offers. So Tom, let me ask you, if we get multiple offers, let's say we're in a $500,000 neighborhood, we get multiple offers in that neighborhood, and because we priced the house at $475,000, for example, what's going to happen to the price of that house?
It's going up.
It's going up, right? See, guys, it's almost impossible to underprice a house in a strong seller's market. And if we anticipate that it needs, at least initially in the next 3 months, 2 months, we're going to see a dip, we've got to get in front of that. And that's what Tactic 7 is all about. So I want you guys to get, when you're doing your CMAs, I want you guys to get really, really tight and really, really specific on it. Because as it says in Tactic 7, we've got this window of opportunity here. And this is the thing. If somebody thinks you're undervaluing or underpricing the home, as Tom just told us, all it's going to do is it's going to create a multiple offer situation, which is going to push the price right to where it should be, if not above, right? You guys ever been to an auction and you see people start bidding, right? And what happens? Emotion gets the best of people and they start throwing numbers up, okay? Guys, the first house I ever bought, right, was listed for $130,000. I was in a multiple offer situation. I paid $140,500. In that price point, people said I was overpaying for the house, okay? And I know I've shared that story with some of you guys before. The house is arguably worth about $260,000 to $270,000 right now after 8 years, or not even 8 years. August will be 8 years, okay? Now, yeah, okay, we'll chalk that up to my Irish luck, doing well, yet why did I go ahead and overbid by almost 10% the value of the home? Why would I overbid 10%? That's huge, right? When you guys look at CMLS and you guys look at your weekly, before you just click on Matrix, look at that home page, okay? And there's a weekly, monthly report right at the top there. And it tells us where homes are selling. And right now, or if any of you guys know, have been looking at it, the leadership, we typically sit down and look at it on a weekly basis. Right now, it's about 96.5%, 97.5%, and that's across the board. That's all the way out to Asheville, and that's price ranges from $40,000 houses all the way up to $10 million houses. Across the board, we're selling at 96.5%. So why would I ever spend 10% over? Well, you got to look at the motivation behind the person, right? I found the house that was on the cul-de-sac. I found the house in the school district that I wanted my son to be in. I found a master on the main, and I didn't want a master on the main. I was in an HOA. I didn't want an HOA. Yet some of those things outweighed, and as a result, I didn't care about the value. I didn't care if I was overpaying for something. I cared about my motivation, taking care of my kid and having good resale in the future. Okay. Those were the things, because I knew that as long as I stayed in the house for 2 to 3 years, I was going to be getting that money back anyways. And because the market increased the way it did, I did very well, and I still have it as a rental property to this day. So when we're talking about Tactic 7, when we're talking about how to anticipate where to price in the market, guys, we talk about bow and arrow effect. You guys hear me say that, right? If I'm aiming at a target way down there, I want to aim my bow and arrow high because I know it's going to curve down, or right? It's going to come in to hit that bullseye. I'm not going to aim directly at the bullseye. I've got to aim above it. Well, right now we've got to do the opposite. We've got to aim below. So where does all of our data come from? When you guys do a CMA and you pull the active listings, the under contracts, and the sold, where is that data from in a timeline? Is that data from yesterday? Is that data from today? Is that data from tomorrow? Where is that data coming from? In front of you or behind you? In the past or in the future?
Past.
The clothes are behind you.
Correct. We're typically, guys, when you're doing a CMA, or at least how I do a CMA, is I usually try and go back the last 90 days, right? Now, Tom, let me ask you a question. If I can't find something in the next 90 days, what am I going to do then?
Extend your search to 180.
Extend your search to 180 or 6 months, right? Bingo. And you hit the nail right on the head. So this is what agents are doing. So let me ask you a question right now. Don, 6 months ago, what was 6 months ago? What was the date?
God, I don't even know what the date is today. November?
Tax day, okay, or what used to be tax day. So today's April 15th. So 6 months ago is October 15th, right? Okay, so give me a thumbs up or nod your head if you think that we're in a different market today than we were October 15th.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely, right? Guys, it's day and night from where we were in October, right? And now even just go back 3 months, right? Go back to January 15th. Are we in a different market now than we were then? Sure. Yeah, a little bit of the coronavirus, COVID-19 had kind of hit the news and stuff, yet it wasn't making an impact here, right? Or if it was making a very small impact here. So when you're doing your CMA, and this is the point that I'm getting at, when you're pulling all that data, you're pulling data from a different market right now. And that's what happens in a shift. That's why Tactic 7 is so important, because, guys, we need to stop looking behind us and start looking in front of us. We need to start anticipating where the market is going. Now, I heard a couple of you say, market's going to stay the same. Market's going to dip a little. Market's going to dip and then come up, okay? We've got some uncertainty in what's going to happen here. And listen, the federal government can only do so much to help us right now, or to help the people that are out there, our clients that we're working with, right? So right now, I would get really, really aggressive on your pricing for listings. Now, I can feel your drunk monkeys, right? I can feel you jumping up and saying, oh, you know what, that's just too complicated. I don't even know how to do that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn around. I'm just going to go work with buyers. Don't be that person. Okay? Do not be that person. Go after the listings, because that's what's going to pull you through the shift. And this is the thing. What I would do, as I just told you guys, we're selling at about 96.5% of the listed price that's out there right now. Okay? Let's just round that down. Let's call it 95, okay? So if we already know what we're going to go ahead and list the house at, on average, is selling right about here at 95, then I would be doing my CMAs and I would be dropping them to 90 to 95% of what I feel the value is right now. Now, again, don't have a drunk monkey around or a drunk gorilla around the fact that, oh, we're undervaluing the home, because as Tom already told us, all that's going to do is incite a multiple offer situation. Let me ask you another question. The buyers that are out there buying those houses right now, is that buyer pool going to get bigger when we come out of this, or do you think that buyer pool is going to get smaller? What do you guys think?
Smaller.
Okay, Tom, why do you say smaller?
Well, we got folks losing jobs. We got folks
Okay.
that aren't financeable anymore.
So if you guys on Facebook Live, Tom's saying people that can't get the financing because they're losing jobs. And we just talked about EXP and Compass cutting 15% of their admin across the board. Do you think that's happening in other industries? Absolutely. So yeah, so regardless, when we come out of this, I think last week, I think we hit a 15 million Americans had filed for unemployment last week. That's what the number had reached now. Okay. So Tom, you're 100% right. We're going to have less people that can qualify or less people that can purchase right now. So our buyer pools are going to shrink. So this is the thing. When we're pricing, we've got to get really tight on our pricing. And this is the thing. Are there going to be real estate agents out there that are not having this conversation, that don't understand what we're talking about right now? Absolutely. I mean, there's agents in our offices right now that aren't on this, that are missing out the value piece of what they can do to price aggressively. Guys, you take all the overpriced listings in the world and put your sign up there in the yard, and it doesn't sell, it doesn't do anything. And what ends up happening at the end of that agreement, at the end of that contract, when it does expire, my real estate agent didn't know what they were doing. Okay? Now, are you going to get some pushback from people saying, well, Tom told me he's going to list it for 500 and you're only going to list it for 480, so I'm going to go with Tom. That's perfectly fine. So let me give you some statistics. National Association of Realtors tells us after 21 days of having a listed property, it is considered stale. Meaning in the first 3 weeks, if we do not have something under contract or we do not have an offer on the table, we need to make an adjustment. So write this down. What are the ABCs of real estate? Anybody know the ABCs of real estate? Chelsea, I see you smiling. You know the ABCs? I can't hear you. You're muted. The ABCs of real estate are as follows. You ready? Condition plus location equals price. Always. Always, always, always. The condition of the property plus the location is going to equal the price. Now, when I say location, let's dig into location for a second, okay? And we're going to dig into condition too. Location doesn't necessarily mean where it is in reference to the city, okay? Location doesn't necessarily mean where it is in reference to an attraction, restaurants, bars, shopping, okay? Yeah, that's a location, but everybody in that neighborhood has that same location, right? And so when you're comparing and you're staying inside that subdivision for comparison's sake, then really the location has to get more specific. So what do I mean by that? So for example, who's going to be selling at a higher rate? The person who's in the cul-de-sac that backs up to the woods, or the guy who's right on the corner who is at the entrance of the neighborhood and everybody who lives in that neighborhood passes his house at least twice a day? Who's going to sell for more?
Cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac. Yep, absolutely. The cul-de-sac is going to sell for more because he or she has a better location inside the neighborhood. So let's really zero that down. Now let's flip to conditioning for a second, right? The condition of the property, okay? I don't care if you're Donald Trump and you want to go, and we're not getting political, okay? We're not getting political, but you want to go ahead and gold plate everything in your house, okay? You want to go ahead and spend $300,000 on gold plating doorknobs and everything metallic in your house. It's called an over improvement. So is there a value there? Sure. Is there a value there to somebody who doesn't find value in gold plating? Absolutely not. So when we talk about the condition, we want the condition to be something that is, commonly accepted by the general public. I'll give you a perfect example. I was talking with a good friend of mine last weekend, and he has his house listed right now, and it's not moving. And it's listed for $2.3 million. It's not a shabby house. And he said, all right, you're a real estate agent. He said, tell me what I need to do. I said, well, first of all, the roof is from 1987. You're selling me a $2.3 million house. He goes, oh yeah, but it's this slate shingle and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that's awesome. By the way, do you know I hate slate shingle? He goes, well, I'm not selling it to you. I go, and you won't. I said, because you're not being open to the general public. Doesn't matter what it was or where it was. the patio pavers are all jacked up in the backyard too. He's like, well, there's nothing I can do about the roots. I go, you get somebody out here, somebody can fix that, right? So when we talk about the condition, we've got the house I was talking about that I bought for $140,500, right? I just went and had the house completely painted. Yes, I went agreeable gray. Okay, I know everybody knows that color. Why did I go agreeable gray? Spent $2,500 painting the house. Why did I go agreeable gray? Because it's the common, accepted, and what everybody can match with, pair with. It's all over HGTV, and somebody looks at it and says, oh, I saw that on HGTV. Okay, great. It must be quality. It must be high-end, whatever it may be, right? And so when we talk about the condition, we talk about the location, we've got to really zero in on it because that's what's going to equal the price. So those, I see a couple people just jumping on here. Hey, Aaron. So location plus condition is always going to equal price. Doesn't matter what market we're in. So we're going to have to get our skills really sharp around Tactic 7. What I mean by that, I know we're at 2:30, we're running a little bit over, so I apologize in advance for that, guys, okay? Yet it's really important that we understand how to have the conversation with people, right? You got to get your objection handlers up right now, okay? And if you guys were on our team meeting yesterday with Tammy Yuns talking about all the different and odd objections that we're hearing now because of COVID-19, it's exactly what Bold Pivot's going to do, right? Bold Pivot is going to objection handle those objections. So when we look at it and we're talking about what we're going to have to objection handle with people, we need to understand where they're coming from, right? We need to understand if they're in a bad place in their house, right? If they're living in a scarcity mindset that they just got to get the most amount of money. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I want to sell it for more because I make more money because I'm work off of commission. Yet, if it doesn't sell, then I just wasted X amount of months, whatever it may be. So that's what's going to be the challenge. So going in deeper on Tactic 7 here, we want to look at what we call our absorption rate in the neighborhood, okay? And we could go more into that. I know we're a little bit over. I don't want to go into too much detail. Look into what an absorption rate happens in a neighborhood, and whatever it is, you got to undercut it by 5 to 10% right now to survive in a shifting market and to sell property in a shifting market. So one of the questions that it asked in here, and I'm trying to find it real quick, is to take or not to take an overpriced listing. I'm going to let you guys are real estate professionals. I'm going to let you determine what's too far overpriced for you not to take it. I'm giving you a little bit of a range saying, I feel the CMA is here compared to what I've been looking at. Yet keep in mind, that stuff's all 3-6 months in the rear view. I'm going to go 5 to 10% under when I'm listing right now. So last thing I'm going to leave you with is the 7 maxims for pricing in a shifting market. So guys, if you've got your shift book, this is on page 156. If not, I'll speak nice and slowly so you can write these down. Number 1 is be a student of your market, okay? Right now, it is so important to know your numbers, okay, guys? Be a student of your market. You may know that this neighborhood is ranged between 350 and 400. Okay, explain to me the difference between 350 and 400. Go. Because that's the conversation that we're going to need to have with people. Number 2, focus your main comps on actives, okay? Because as Tom told us, if we're going to go back 3 months, if we're going to go back 6 months and look at closed property, right, Don, from October, closed property from October is not going to equal closed property in the next 30, 60, 90 days that we're looking at. So focus mainly on the active listings. Typically, it's the other way around. We typically want to focus on the closed because closed is proof in the pudding, right? Well, right now we need to focus on the actives, and then we need to focus on the pendings because our solds or our closed, they're probably out of date. Number 3, be a student of property. What does that mean? So when you be a student of property, preview them so you understand what is selling and why. All right, guys, go back to Ignite with me for a second, right? Every week, add 10 contacts, right? Every day, talk to 10 people, add 10 contacts. Every week, write 10 handwritten notes, You guys got plenty of time at home right now. You better be writing handwritten notes, right? And go on 10 previews. When's the last time you guys actually went and previewed something, right? Okay, BJ, I can't preview. Great. Are people figuring out how to do virtual tours around houses right now? That's a preview, right? So go ahead and become a student of property. Number 4, keep your presentation as current as possible. You guys all have a listing presentation. If you don't, message me. I'll give you mine. Okay, you guys all have a buyer consultation. You guys have anything in your consultations right now about COVID-19? Do you? If you don't, you should, right? And if you guys are looking for material or how to put in there what you can, just go get the COVID-19 addendum. At least that's something in there showing people that, oh, this agent's smart. They're up to date on stuff. They're staying abreast of the situation. Okay, number 5, pre-qualify for motivation. Sellers who most need to sell most often, okay? So how do we dig down into their motivation? Where's our pre-qualifying script? And when we're talking to people, are we going 3 deep with that conversation? Are we asking them the question saying, okay, Chelsea, you need to sell your house. Great. Why? Right? People move for 4 reasons, right? 4, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, right? Those are the 4 reasons why people move. What is the motivation behind the move? Oh, Chelsea, you need to move to California. That's awesome. Tell me more about that. I just, want to get over there. Okay. Well, what is it unique about California? Oh, well, that's where my sister and her kids are. Oh, okay, really? And so how soon would you want to be there if you had a choice? So I want to be there in 3 months. Oh, okay, great. And what happens if you're not there in 3 months? Let's do a little pain versus pleasure with them, right? Let's find that motivation to sell, and then that's where we need to kind of lock that away in our utility belt, or whatever you guys want to call it, and use it later when we do need to sell, or when we need to do a price reduction, or we need to accept an offer that maybe is not acceptable to Chelsea. All right, number 6. Price ahead of the market to avoid chasing it. I think we've talked enough about this, right? Go that 5 to 10% low on what you feel a CMA is right now to price it. If it's under, don't worry about it. They're going to get the money for it anyways. And lastly, 7, always secure price reductions in advance to avoid falling behind the market. Let's talk about that for a second, guys, okay? There is an addendum out there called the price reduction addendum. In that addendum, you can walk in. Tom, you can go take your overpriced listing at $500,000 and say, listen, 21 days, National Association of Realtors tells us a property is stale. So if we don't have an offer, or if we don't have an interested party in the first 21 days, and let's do the math out. Okay, great. That would be May 30th, whatever it is, right? If we don't have an under contract or somebody that is planning to move forward with an offer, we're going to go ahead and reduce on May 30th, okay? And right there in the price reduction addendum, there's 3 lines. You can put 3 price reductions, or you guys can switch it up. You can say, listen, after the first 3 weeks, we're going to reduce by $10,000. After the next week, we're going to reduce by another $10,000. And then after the 3rd week, we'll reduce by $5,000 more. Now, that's going to be a negotiation that you guys are going to have with the sellers. Yet get in front of it, okay? Because this is the thing. If they're so confident that their house is going to go ahead and sell, Tom, at that $500,000, awesome. And if it doesn't, we've got an action plan in place. Now, by using the price reduction addendum, the one thing I'm going to tell you guys is don't just go, oh, it's May 30th, reducing the price. You better be calling your client the day before and let them know, hey, we've reached this. According to the conversation we had 21 days ago, we're going to go ahead and reduce the price of the home. Is that still acceptable to you or whatever? Right? Okay? And not May 30th. I just realized it's like 45 days. So don't come to me for math. Okay? Kidding. Guys, make sure that you guys are really getting really down to the nitty gritty on pricing of houses right now. Okay? And if all else fails, somebody's going to go with Tom instead of with me because he's going to list it higher. Because are there real estate agents out there that don't know what they're doing? Say yes, there absolutely are. Then let's go ahead and put a price reduction addendum in place. All right, questions, comments, concerns. I apologize, guys. I know we're over today, but it's a lot of good information. and stuff that I really wanted to make sure that we shared and spoke about. So what do you guys got for me?
Hey, PJ, I'd ask about you commented at one point in time, know the absorption rate for your community and undercut that by 5 to 10%, right?
Correct.
So when we talk about absorption rate, I'm usually thinking about how much month supply we've got of inventory. But
so and absorption rate is going to be a much longer conversation. So just to kind of abridge it, you think of it like a pond, right? And let me see if I can get some of my older material, and I'll put it out to you guys by the end of the week here on absorption rate. And what it does is how much has the house grown in value, right? Where has the house started at when they purchased it? Where did it go to? Because we all want to know what equity is, yet the people want to know what the profit is of it. And so we can see that through tax records and things of that nature. Yet we have to be prepared that if it grows on average, the safety is 3 to 6% a year in absorption. Okay. So if that's a $100,000 house, that means the next year it's worth anywhere from 103 to 106, depending upon the market, right? Now, if the market's going the other direction, well, it could be worth 96,000, right, after the first year. So we have to look back and see where the market was. Now, Charlotte has had a very fast-paced moving market. I think it was 2017 or 2016. Don't quote me. Our absorption rate was 13.1%. It was the largest in the country. And that same year, Waxhaw was the #1 most desired zip code to move to in the entire country. Okay.
And can I ask one other clear?
Yeah.
Are we talking absorption or are we talking about the appreciation rate?
So appreciation is part of absorption.
Okay.
So
I
that's
get
going to
it.
play in because there's neighborhood factors are going to play into the absorption rate. So again, I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a much longer conversation, but we have to look at that, and then we have to consider. Let me put some stuff out, and maybe we can talk about this tomorrow if I've got it all up and ready to go. We'll talk about it on this call, and we'll dig a little bit further into that because that's what a lot of people. That's a conversation a lot of agents aren't having with people. And it's a really smart, intelligent conversation to have that's going to win you over on the listing. Is that fair?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. What else? Any other questions, guys? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Keep doing what you're doing right now. I love you guys. Be safe, be healthy, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. And getting through the technical difficulties. Hopefully my internet